Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to play NL200 Russian Cash, and the focus will be on identifying in which way villain is deviating from GTO. So thinking about how the GTO thresholds look like in the bot that we are in. Here, for example, my hand will be sometimes 4-betting, but yeah, like the MP should find 3-bets like lower pockets to the connectors. So it's very easy to have a too strong 3-bet range there as the MP. So it doesn't make much sense then to include too many 4-bet bluffs, let's say. So I want to be there a bit careful. So like this, just asking always what should he do and in which way is he likely to deviate, just from how it's more intuitive for a human to play. Here we want to get in. Both. And also we put our focus more on villain and not so much on overly obsessing about our own strategy. Of course, we want to have like a solid foundation, let's say, but mainly we want to identify the mistakes in villain instead of worrying too much about our own mistakes, let's say. Yeah, isolation would be also fine. Let me check. And of course, not always you will know how to deviate or how the thresholds will look like. So I'm marking also hands where I'm unsure. That I will show you then also how I work with the solver, how I train my exploitative abilities with it. I think it's also, this will be also very interesting. 10-8 suited, I think it's okay. Just checking and calling the river, pretty easy call. Now I expect some hands like queen 7, queen 6, that there's like a overbluff happening. I think we can go for value, to be honest. I think, yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. It's interesting that he's not bluffing it, so he's not over bluffing most likely here. So, and I was not totally sure like how my relative hand strength is there in a limp pot. I didn't look into this for a longer time, so could be that it's worth a bet. Yeah, versus fish, we want to also start limping this type of hand sometimes, especially when the SPR is lower, or like the stake size of the fish is lower. I think, yeah, we are good to just keep value betting. Alternative is also a good alternative is also going into check call and let him bluff. But there's so many flush draws, straight draws, so he's overstepping them. So the idea is to check raise and let him call the flush draws, straight draws, and then check call on brick runouts. Somehow this makes sense to me there. The recreation is they're overstepping, so. And yeah, the first intention was like just the like the straightforward just bet, but yeah, I think the check raise results in a higher EV there. And here we can just range bet. Ten 7 is, I think, also fine 3-bet. And 10-8 for sure. Then 7 should be also fine, especially exploitatively. Because the pool is under 3-betting, I think this kind of hands can perform quite well as a 3-bet. So I rather overdo them a bit than underdoing it. Yeah, I would just consider calling if there's like recreational players behind, but that's a weird one. Doesn't make much sense to donk on that board. So we will be raising. It would make more sense if the board would be 8, 7, 6, something like this. If it's more because as soon villain has all the sets, let's say, and some more 2 pairs, then it makes sense. But right here, I think I keep calling. Normally they're a bit too passive on rivers, so they bet turn and then give up river a bit too much, and was not an overbet. But what I was saying, I lost a bit the track. Ah yeah. So if it's more like if he has the sets and the 2 pairs, then he's able to donk. But on that board, I can attack quite aggressively when he starts donking. You check, open. I would be also aggressive there with hands like queen jack, king jack type hands, where I had nines. Let's say where he donked. I'm putting max pressure on him. Queen jack is great because it's just blocking the best hands, or something like ace 5 blocking his 5s, also great. And ace 4, I think ace 4 was the straight. Maybe if when I'm talking about the hand, I should open it and just all in here. And yeah, ace 8 plays pretty bad. We're kind of developing a bit of a dynamic with this devil guy. So based on that, normally this hand is 3-betting, low frequency, and I rolled a 3-bet, but based on the past hands that we had now, I decided to play a bit more tighter side. This can be a check raise even, or more like ace jack, ace 10, a mergey check raise. Very nice turn for my range, and it's also not a range bet for him. If he range bets there, then we can go wider for value, more thin, and also bluff way more. Just overall very aggressive. You just bet. I expect him having too many, like again queen 7, queen 8 type hands. Check 2s. Yeah, he's not a but yeah, it's already the feeling that he's like more recreational because of this snap donk there looked already pretty fishy before when we had the 9-9. Based on this, I want to keep this guy. I want to be involved with him. He seems to be a weaker player, so we want to play hands with him. I think that's not the worst texture where you have to donk. In my hand kind of makes sense to donk. We want to develop quite a lot of donks, I think, on this type of boards. But this is more intuitive. I didn't look into it or study it, so not 100% certain there. Here we open. We have a fish in the button, so we will be opening a bit bigger. We need to fold. He opened 3 eggs and is short staked. Yeah, on that board we do quite a lot of checking. And he should be donking. We opened 2.5, so he doesn't have 6-5 offsuit. That helps us. And here doesn't have 7-3 suited. So I need to consider this for sure. I should not forget about this, that I opened bigger. This changes quite a lot the strategy. After I check call the turn, I think we can go for a overbet. 10-7-3 should be fine to range bet with like a half pot sizing. I think I like the simplification. 9-7-3 would already get worse because then my king jack, king queen, they're not having so many turns where we pick up equity, let's say. They're not so great connected. The king is a very good card, so I think we can just keep barreling quite aggressively. It jacks with the jack of spades, jack of diamonds is like really one. Queens, even more a check, but jacks also like the specific suits. I somehow feel like that the villain can do more mistakes by us checking. So for example, he can now over bluff a bit with his like 4-5, 6-5, 9-8, jack 9 type hands. And yeah, now we have a bluff catcher. And I think it's a pretty nice bluff catcher here, to be honest. Like I said, he also so deep. He can even turn up here with 8-6, check 8. So yeah, kinda ending up to the call, most likely. Yeah, unfortunate. But I think, yeah, it's fine. It's how I want to check. Was an interesting hand. And I think in GTO it's just a really high frequent check call there with my hand. So probably this one we will go investigate a bit more and try to get some heuristic, some learn something from the tent. I'm not sure if this, I think this guy is a recreational, so then I want to rebet him. This guy marked as a crazy guy, so I need to call here. I like stabbing, trying to fold out his ace queen, ace king type hands, making my outs a bit cleaner. I think king 9 would be a low frequency 3-bet, but yeah, we rolled passive, and yeah, I don't want to go now fully overboard and just always I'm just thinking. I think it's already on the flop, not a range bet for him. I think already on the flop I should check raise quite aggressively, because as soon the ace is on this ace high flush boards or monotone boards, it's in the solver, like the solver is checking a lot. Can be that we do some aggressive actions here. I don't think the pool is blocking enough flushes. I think we should be also good to re-raise for value. Getting called by this. It's good. Yeah, there we maximized our EV for sure by playing it a bit more tricky. Just thinking of kind of like how villain is perceiving my action, and yeah, going then for value in a different line, let's say, instead of just over betting myself and getting like this. I got more out of it for sure. On that board, I think it's fine to just range bet small. When you open bigger, then I think it shifts more to a bigger sizings, because then he has less air-type hands. If you open 2x on that board, or yeah, hands like 7s, 8s type hands, they still benefit quite a lot from folding out all this king x, queen x, all this stuff. Very interesting. Yeah, normally we have a great blocker, but it's such a weird line. Like, is a bluff really? Like, does he? It's a bit weird. Pretty weird. I was the first intention is just to raise my blocker, because he's kind of repping 8s or ace 8, or yeah, a bit weird. Like, didn't full, like, I was not sure. It's also very weird to just start donking a bluff. That's was then the thing that makes me to fold is that a bluff is pretty weird there, and then it's just 8s. Even if I block it, or like ace 8, check 8, and then I end up bluffing with my blocker into a range that doesn't contain enough bluffs, and then anyway it doesn't make sense. So you need to be there a bit careful. Okay, so anyway, it's now, I don't know what happens, so I will open up that one hand and we will go over it. So this is the spot, jacks, deep. We made a bluff catcher and we was wrong. We want to go over it before we look into the solver, just to kind of estimate what we think the solve will look like, just to train, or like to test our understanding. I like to do this. I think it's a much more efficient way to learn, and learn from my hand, and just in general learn with the solver, is when you think before you look into the solution. I think most people do this quite wrong. I see this also in my students a lot, that they just click through the solution and they don't really think ahead. They don't try to anticipate or like estimate how the solution will look like. For example, here most players, I would imagine, they make the bluff catcher and they want to know was this a good bluff catcher or not, and then they maybe we can do it like this, that we quickly go over like how not to do it. um how I would think that this is a waste of time is like we have here the solution 150 big blinds deep, 3-bet call. So the worst thing that we could do is looking into the solution. So let's say the board was 10-7-3. Okay. And then you have already like such a mix going on, and this is like the really the worst thing is then to say, okay, we bet at like around 50, so 66 is fine. Call, turn is the king. I want to know like how often do we bet, and like maybe even the player starts then to think, I don't know, a frequency or something, and then looks, and then we see like it's 100% betting. Okay, we bet, I think in game. No, we check. Okay, Willem bet, and he bet like 1/3, and this is one thing that I want to mention later. And call, and then river comes the what game? The queen of spades, I think, or something like this. Doesn't matter. And all in, and then we see, okay, jacks is a fold. Great, it's a close fold, so it was a mistake. So that's the like the worst way how you can study with the solver, how you can use this tool. The next best way would be to use the AI solve, and then at least use a cleaner tree. The next step would be then to anticipate and estimate the outcomes, and try to really think beforehand, put more energy into it. And the next step would be then to make node logs and try to anticipate what happens when you change certain factors or like things in the range or in the actions, and try it, and then you study kind of like your cause and effect training. So you train how the different factors are interacting with each other. So, like all the stuff is normally missing in like in the average player study routine. So just wanted to quickly show how not to do it. So let's go back to the end. Let's okay, make an estimation on the flop. And again, if I spend myself like time, like if I do it myself, I don't know, like in this hand I could spend like around 30 minutes to 1 hour even, really going deep. But let's try to keep it a bit shorter here. So flop, I would think that a 50% range bet would be fine, and that we don't lose that much EV. And I would imagine like I have kind of the threshold of like, let's say 0.75 or something. I'm okay to lose for simplification. So 0.5 of the percent of the pot. So we would need to see if this is really the case here or we lose more. And what else? Like how often do we bet on the like also the betting frequency? You can make estimation. So I would imagine the floor that in GTO the sizing would be 2/3 or something like this, bigger than half pot, and then a bit lower frequency than 50%, of course. So like around 60%, 65%, I would imagine. So turn, then my estimation is that we have like a very high frequency bet, and we already saw before when we looked through it that we already saw that it's betting 100% if we let it to bet 1/3 and big, but we want to simplify to one sizing. So yeah, I think around 65% or something big sizing, and my hand should be pretty frequent betting queens and jacks. I don't in game I got caught up too much in this like blocker thinking, and this took away too much attention That's a perfect example how over being overly obsessed with like blockers or like your own strategy, let's say, um, can cause you to make very big mistakes. Because by thinking about the blockers, I missed the most important spot in the entire hand is that he bet 1/3 on the turn, and I just didn't see it in game. Like I didn't catch it, because if I would catch it, I would realize, okay, in the small bet he doesn't have the hands that I want him to have, um, so that my jacks becomes a profitable hero call on the river. Because on the king he should bet polarized, bigger sizings, and it's a pretty intuitive thing also to get correct. So like it's intuitively, it's for a human intuitive to bet big on the king. So as soon as he goes small, he's telling me something. He's deviating somehow. The sizing tells. So, and it really doesn't make much sense to go small with a bluff now on the turn. So he has too many. It really looks like in game. It looked like that he don't want me to fold, and I need to catch this. So I just got caught up explaining these things, and yeah, it's not bad to think about blockers, stuff like this, especially on the river when ranges are quite tight and more polarized the situation gets. So bigger bets you face, smaller the ranges, more important blockers. Yes, but in general, I like to think about them to develop a better understanding about poker. But in game, often the case is that you're much better off just putting your full attention on what villain should do and what is he doing wrong, which kind of information, like sizing, timing tells. This are way more important than thinking here about blockers. Okay, so then yeah, if I check on the turn, my intention was, or like my idea was that I wanted to shift the frequency to checking more, because I expect him to make more mistakes when I check to him, and that he overbluffs for 5, 4s, 5s. I would imagine that this hands would, in GTO, it stabs maybe 25% of the time with a diamond, or even without a diamond, and I think it's very easy to go 50 or 75, and as soon they stab on the turn too often, on the queen run out, I think it's a very intuitive full frequency bet. So if we increase the frequencies of this type of hands on the turn and then like let him bet him always on the river, then I think it's very fast full frequency call and very positive call. In theory, if you would play perfectly, then my hand is like just indifferent, I guess, and maybe even like low frequency call, I would think. Not high frequency, but like it's a decent bluff catcher, let's say. Yes. What else? I think that's mostly it. So we will also yeah, look into this. Wait. Let's start with the flop. Let's just go step by step. Okay, flop. It's lower than I thought. Okay. Interesting. Let's check one thing. If we go 50%, how often? Then around like 60 something. Okay. Yeah, looks close, to be honest. I would expect higher. So this is already looking a bit close. I need to check how much EV do I lose really by range betting. Maybe it's already too much. I lose 1.3%. So we are going already like over my threshold that I'm allowing myself to lose, without any other exploitive reasons, let's say. If it's just about simplification or just like this, then this is too much. So I would need to start mixing. But the next question is also, why did I get it wrong? So now I need to think, what is in my thought process was, what do I need to add to my thought process that next time I have a better understanding of this situation and get a better result. Because I don't want to memorize. I want to really understand what was wrong. So I would imagine, so I need to ask myself which factors can I change, or like what could be the reasons for me being wrong. I think most likely it will be this SPR, because I think I underestimate how much how important the nutted advantage gets. Sevens and threes villain has just more often, and they hurt our aces, kings, queens where we have the advantage. So as soon they kind of as soon our aces, kings, queens lose a decent amount of EV to this type of hands, then I think our overall range suffers, and we need to check more often to also protect everything. So kind of like this I have it in mind. So what then I ask myself, how can I test the estimation, or like how can I test if this is correct, this estimation, if it's really about the SPR. Then we can just change the SPR. So what I like to do is to compare and like to open more tabs and with the same kind of same situation, but just change certain vectors and then compare. I compare a lot when I study. So let's change it up again to GTO, and we would need to see a increase in frequency for sure. If my estimation is here correct, if we go for example to a normal SPR 90, like even 88, okay, so that would be kind of like a 100 big blind SPR, and then now I expect 64, 60, okay, 60, it's 6% or something more. I think it's already enough. If we go now 50, then it should go up to 70 something, 72, I would imagine 73, and then yeah, now it should be enough, I think, to range bet. Now we lose, yeah, still 1.1%, so it's still close. So the next thing would be then probably that I have the spot in mind. I underestimate, yeah, because we are big blind versus button. Oh, we are small blind versus button here. I messed up a bit because it's big blind, not small blind. That's my fault. Okay, we looked now in small blind. Doesn't matter. Let's just look now into big blind. And anyway, I wanted to compare it with small blind, so it's was not wasted time. But yeah, it's just messed up there. Okay. So then let's just open up now another solution with big blind, and then we see also the differences there. So solution, okay, yeah, like big blind. I messed up there, but like I said, anyway, I would look into both most likely. Let's see, because it's a very different range construction, often you will see quite a lot of differences. So here, yeah, now we are like kind of yeah, so now I realized that it was not so bad, my what I was thinking. But to be honest, I would also think that small blind versus button, that it's kind of like similar. So now I can ask myself, so you see, like when you just click through the solution, you don't spot all this kind of things, let's say. You get a much deeper understanding, and you see, or like you spot way more things where your understanding is kind of like where you need to improve your understanding. So for example, here I thought small blind button would be even higher frequency bet, if I'm honest, than big blind with button, because we have more this like this more polarized range, a bit which I was thinking misses the spot a bit more, let's say. So now I need to think, why is that we bet big blind versus button higher frequent than small blind versus button. For that, I need to look at the ranges. So this is small blind button with the let's compare this two. So this and this. So we see it's a big difference in frequency. We can look at the EV also. There's also should be also quite a big difference in EV. So let's see the differences. Let's see the differences. Also, the graphs are nice to quickly spot where the differences are. We see here in that area. Mostly here. Ace King, Queens. And here we are. Why is this? So yeah, like this. Of course, you spend more time, but now I need to think. Like, why is it that like a problem that you need to solve? Yeah, hard to understand now, to be honest, why this is. Yeah, to be honest, for now I don't have the answer. Like, and I don't want to spend not too much time. So if I'm alone, like if I don't do the video, then I will spend a bit more time. But yeah, we just know, okay, there's something in the range construction. Normally I also like I have my open questions and I try a bit to solve it. I try to get the answer, but you don't. It's like a kind of like a balance thing. Like, you want to spend some time to solve the problem, but you need to always like not go, let's say, crazy about it. And yeah, just next time, or like when you have again time, you can look again into it with a fresh mind, and then maybe the answer is like faster clear to you. So let's just continue. So my estimation with the here and the big blind button is correct, but there would be a mistake in the small blind versus button, and I'm not sure why this is. So here, we don't lose more than 1%. Yeah, it's like 0.5, right? Something like this. So totally fine. Range bet. Let's move on. Call. Interesting also, how imposition should react. So I could again make an estimation, but like we want to not spend not too much time anymore. Yeah, 3s, 7s should not raise that much. I think also population will not like raise now all the time here. So yeah, not much that I would change here, to be honest. I'm not sure how they will play here. You need to be careful with your estimations. And king. So like I said, we expect high frequency bets. 65, yeah, we was quite close to this. And jacks and queens, high frequency bets. But this is also like this question about small blind button, big blind button. It's maybe also cool for you guys to have the possibility to discuss it in the comments, let's say. I can then also later on to look a bit more into it, but you can give your ideas, let's say, why this is, why we have a higher frequency bet big blind versus button than small versus button. Could be also something very simple that I'm just missing right now, but yeah, just write in the comments if you have ideas. So 74%, and yeah, my estimation when we checked that villain should bet, and this is the most one of the most important parts now in this study is that my thresholds are kind of correct by estimating. So like I estimated fives, fours, deuces. They step like 25% of the time, maybe deuces 50% of the time. But I think it's pretty easy to for population to step too often, or something like 6-5, 4-5, 9-8. I expect also just stepping like around 25, maybe some of them 50, but yeah, not that frequent. Let's see, 6-5, 25, 4-5 more frequent, okay, but this then a bit less frequent. Deuces 75 to 50, but here then again fives 25. So I would imagine that this hands like fours, fives step more often, 6-5 step more often, 9-8 maybe a bit more often, like 50, 75. But you will see that just very slight differences can make a huge difference. Let's change it to 33%. And like I said, in game, like my call was a total punt because I missed the small sizing, and I realized it afterwards. Because he will not step now the range that we see, but I just use now the 33 that we get kind of the range construction that I thought he will have. As he would like, we kind of look now into it that we have the same SPR kind of on the river, and with the range construction that I would think he bets with 75%, just to see if my jacks would make sense to call. This is also one question that I want to answer. If like, how is the effect of him like over bluffing like just few combos like fives, fours type hands? And in theory, I think already it's a low frequency call, like at least indifferent. And yeah, let's see, maybe it's already fully folding. No, so here it's now a low frequency call. So I should normally roll it, randomize it, but yeah, like villain is either over or under bluffing. There's no balance. So if you're confident enough into like estimating like the left or right, so like overfold or overcall, then you can make a very nice adjustment with your indifferent hands. If I'm not sure, then I will randomize, but I really try to figure out what's going on and adjust correctly. Okay, so what we need to do now is I think already if we put 6-5 and 5-4 into the all-in, what else needs to happen? That's also interesting. Yeah, ace king needs to go for the thin all-in on the river. Probably not happening. Ace queen needs to go all in. Also not happening. So there's so many things that are like, yeah, like that he bluffs queen 9 in diamonds. Probably not, because that all these things hurt my jacks, let's say, and they're highly unintuitive. So let's do a quick node lock, and let's slowly change it. Let's say I want to see at which point my jacks becomes a plus EV. If I just change everything now, then I don't have a yeah, I don't like it so much. Let's say I like to do it slower. So just saying sixes and fives, go all in. Sorry, 6-5 4-5, lock it, and then I make an estimation. Is this already now enough to call the jacks? And I think so, at least 75% of the time. But let's see how strong this effect is. I already know, like if we have 16, it's so sensitive. It's very important to get a very good understanding of in which way villain is deviating on the rivers. This is like the most important thing, and also to be able to kind of anticipated already beforehand, because if you can funnel the villain into the yeah, into a action or into a line where you can already, you kind of know already which kind of mistakes he's likely to make, then you can provoke mistakes. So yeah, the river is very, very important. That's the main takeaway also here. So main takeaways are like, um, don't, like if you go into a hand, if you look through a hand, you see like how much you can do. So like estimating, use the clean trees and the AI. Comparing is a great way of like getting deep understanding. Um, you will spot problems in your understanding, or then try to solve the problem, but don't go crazy about it. Save the question for later on, or like ask other people for advice. Um, then information is the most important, is much more important than any kind of um, yeah, like blocker thinking or something. It's like yeah, like you need to really pay attention on information and to not miss obvious things, and focus more on thresholds of villain and try to anticipate the mistakes of villain and how you should deviate. And for that, you need to node log, train your cause and effect thinking. Need to have a good understanding of thresholds, so like how they yeah, which hands get indifferent, and you need to have a good understanding how the human is deviating, or like which kind of actions are very highly unintuitive for a human. um, all these things, they come together, and if you understand all these things, if you do all these things on a high level, let's say, they make you then yeah, they give you a very deep understanding of the um, yeah, theory, by like this estimating and thinking through and stuff like this. But then the thresholds and information, everything, they give you and this cause and effect thinking gives you also like a very deep understanding of exploiting. So yeah, very interesting hand. And yeah, if you like this kind of analysis of this yeah, of a hand, then I can kind of yeah, put more focus also into this. I like to do it. I enjoy the work with the solvers. So if you like me to do this more often in future videos, that I take like one hand that we played and go deep into it, that I focus more into this, then let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and if you would like to level up your study efficiency, click on the video on the screen.